Welcome to this comprehensive overview of Apache Iceberg's background and architecture. Today we're going to explore how Iceberg revolutionizes data architecture by building a sophisticated metadata layer on top of existing storage systems. Let's start by understanding the foundation. At the bottom, we have a storage layer that includes local machines, databases, and cloud storage like S3. This storage layer is where our actual data lives, but by itself, it presents several challenges that we'll explore. On top of this storage layer, Iceberg introduces a revolutionary metadata layer. This metadata layer is what makes Iceberg so powerful. It sits between your storage and your compute engines, providing a unified way to manage and access your data. Above the metadata layer, we have various query engines like Spark, Flink, DuckDB, and Trino. These engines can all work with the same Iceberg tables through the standardized metadata layer, giving you incredible flexibility in choosing the right tool for each job. Now, let's talk about the problems that S3 and similar cloud storage systems face when used directly for analytics. The first major issue is schema consistency. When you store files directly in S3, there's no central place to track schema changes or ensure that all your files follow the same structure. The second problem is the lack of ACID transactions. S3 is great for storing files, but it doesn't provide the atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability guarantees that you need for reliable data operations. Without ACID support, you can end up with partially written data or inconsistent views during concurrent operations. Let's examine how Iceberg solves these problems by looking at the data layer in S3. At the foundation, we have Parquet files stored in S3. These files contain your actual data in an efficient columnar format. That's great for analytics. On top of the data layer, we have the Iceberg metadata layer, which contains manifest files. These manifest files are the key to Iceberg's magic. They connect to and describe the data files in your storage layer. Each manifest file contains detailed information about a collection of data files, including their schemas, statistics, and locations. Multiple manifest files connect to multiple data files in the storage layer. This many-to-many relationship allows Iceberg to efficiently track and manage large numbers of data files while providing rich metadata for query optimization. Moving up the hierarchy, we have the manifest list layer. The manifest list connects to and coordinates multiple manifest files. This layer provides an efficient way to track which manifest files are part of a particular table state and enables fast metadata operations. At the top of this hierarchy, we have metadata snapshots. Let's start with snapshot S0, which represents a complete, consistent view of your table at a specific point in time. This snapshot references the manifest list, which in turn references the manifest files that describe your Parquet files. When you make changes to your table, Iceberg creates a new snapshot. Let's call it S1. This new snapshot can reuse existing manifest files where data hasn't changed and create new manifest files for new or modified data. This copy-on-write approach ensures that each snapshot is immutable and consistent. The snapshot S1 also connects toward the Parquet files, but it might reference different manifest files than S0, reflecting the changes that have been made to the table. This architecture enables powerful features like time travel, where you can query your data as it existed at any previous snapshot. What makes this architecture so elegant is how it solves the fundamental problems we identified earlier. Schema consistency is maintained through the metadata layer, which tracks schema evolution across all snapshots. ACID transactions are provided through the atomic snapshot creation process. Either a new snapshot is completely created or the operation fails without affecting existing data. The hierarchical metadata structure also provides incredible performance benefits. When you run a query, Iceberg can use the manifest file statistics to eliminate entire data files from consideration without actually reading them. This predicate push-down capability dramatically reduces the amount of data that needs to be scanned. The immutable snapshot design means that multiple readers can work with the same snapshot simultaneously without interfering with each other, while writers create new snapshots without affecting ongoing reads. This provides the isolation that's crucial for concurrent data operations. The manifest list layer enables efficient metadata operations. When you need to find specific data files or check table statistics, Iceberg can often answer these questions by reading just the metadata without touching the actual data files. This layered approach also makes Iceberg incredibly scalable. As your table grows and accumulates more snapshots and manifest files, the hierarchical structure ensures that metadata operations remain efficient. You're not scanning through all historical data just to understand the current state of your table. The beauty of Iceberg's architecture is that it provides all these advanced capabilities while remaining completely transparent to users. From a query perspective, you're just working with tables and SQL, but underneath this sophisticated metadata layer is optimizing every operation. This architecture also enables features that would be impossible or impractical with traditional data lake approaches. Time travel queries become trivial because each snapshot represents a complete, consistent view of your data. Schema evolution is handled gracefully because the metadata layer tracks and manages schema changes across snapshots. The separation of concerns between data storage and metadata management also provides operational flexibility. You can use the same Iceberg table with different compute engines, migrate between cloud providers, or change your underlying storage format, all while maintaining the same table interface. That's all we have in this video. I hope you have learned something new today. Let's see in the next video.